I feel like I can barely talk. I just wanted to remind people and urge people to share this information. Research the others who are speaking on this, from Max Spears, James Casbolt, Donald Marshall, Tux. I mean, everybody has covered the dark side of what's going on. They clone everybody, they kill everybody and replace them. Often the entire family. They try and wipe people's bloodlines out. And they use a synthetic demonic possession system through some type of craft or satellites or whatever it is. It operates just like the internet. Only instead of sending information and digital feeds or live feeds, they transmit themselves, their consciousness, in energetic form around. Sorry, I had to clear some memory. Instead of information, it's their consciousness in an energetic format, and they literally target people, attack people, and attempt to steal their soul energy, to use the person's physical body, kind of even like fishing for men, like the bobber or the hook, really the energy to the physical body as the bait and the fish as their soul. And they draw energy through the body through methods of torture and electronic demonic possession. I think Tempest, S.A.T.A.N, S.A.T.A.N, satellite assisted targeting and something. You just look it up and you'll see it's all there. This is what I was told by people who developed the systems, and I don't know, they either everything went to hell and they had to go back, or they're having me trick everyone by telling them what's really going on so that they can continue doing it because nobody's going to do anything. And by putting it out there and nobody reacting, they're getting a free range to do whatever they want. But there's all a type of acronyms. Everything has an acronym. Everything has an operation project title. It's always like a quirky, weird hint at what's really going on. Apparently that is a system that mimics what is happening regardless of whether people are actually using technology to do that. That there are entities that are spiritual, interdimensional parasites whose forms match the capacity for what an electronic system can do. Scalar soul energy siphoning system can do. And they're just riding on that natural system because it was here anyway. And they recovered basically stolen technology and developed their own, modified it. And the other aspect is that this is already happening. There are devices on the surface of the moon which carry a certain shape, which acts as and it has a function, an electronic function, which acts as a magnet for soul energy. That is the trap. And people operate the facilities there and literally psychologically assess a person and choose the best way to disempower them and wipe their memory or their consciousness. This is all going on. It's been going on since we were here. As long as people were here, that's what's going on. Very tired now. Been very tired for the past couple of days. I don't know what just happened a few minutes ago. It was pretty much half my body was numb. And I started to like black out into a stupor. I'm gonna rest. There's supposed to be a talk tonight, but today, I don't like interference actually being able to control the situation, so I'm at least putting this video out. I honestly might go ahead with the talk because this motivates me more, but I have to be careful, and you as well, because saying that this motivates me is kind of like saying, you know, I'll take more please, and it's not how it is, and I should be motivated anyway. And the truth is, it is in a way motivating, because what would you do? If the building's on fire, you're gonna run very fast. Not, loafing around is a lot easier. I don't know the reason for it all. I do know it's beyond what we see on the physical plane, and as well that what the limitations here on the physical plane have nothing on the higher plane. That from the axis of the higher plane, basically a bubble down here is enough to carry air, wind. A bubble blown from the higher plane, you can carry a tanker, a cruise ship in it. It's just the energy is instantly magnified from the higher plane, like a cone vortex or something coming down. Going up, it kind of shrinks, if you will, but not really. But it's not really going up, it's just that in comparison from parallel down here to down here, it's nothing compared to energy coming from high up to down here. It's like this world is just an illusion. It's like dolls compared to pure energy of the higher realm. More or less, they want to tap that energy, but they don't have access to it, and people are their toys, their bait. And the world, whatever it is, maybe just the energetic mind control aspect of it is the illusion, the Monopoly board game that everyone sits down at the table to and agrees to play by putting their chip, their little icon avatar that they're going to use. If you don't select a little guy, whatever, avatar player, you're not playing the game. You also can't get beat. You can't lose. But if you get, real anxious and you pick one of your players and take them from the whatever spot and, if you roll the die, at that point, you're playing the game. And so it's temptation that starts the whole process. So about either desire and emotionality as a loss of control, or knowledge and feeling without, attachment to lower conformation, which creates an automation where the free will is not there, because we're just mechanical, biological beings if we don't use our free will to control through delayed gratification and the like, how we're going to respond to stimuli, including hate and reactions of that sort, and pleasure or fear. All of these, if it's a reaction, it can be used as a control model, a matrix, an algorithm systems. And if you're repeating the same process over and over, a computer that can think 1,000 times faster than you, it's going to map everything out 10 steps, 100 steps ahead of a person. But if you refuse, you literally say no thank you at every point, nothing can be done. That's the point. What could you do? Come down and force you to play the game and put your hand on the piece and roll it? It's not possible. You can only work through temptation to get your permission. I might try to do this because I tell you, I just got a shot from hell. And I didn't have a vision dream last night. I had a vision, and I saw a lot of death, and it was not from this plane. It was from the underworld. And these were fallen timelines where these overlord trap systems are built from. That it's fallen interdimensional alien, because I don't consider that an accurate use of any type of terminology or visual or conceptualization technology, alien technology. And it's designed to control the mind, to replicate the consciousness, to record, steal the soul, to replicate the soul, to modify DNA, to generate artificial timelines out of a person's consciousness that then acts as an observational anchor for this physical reality, and therefore constructs time as it goes. And it uses us like a laser flashlight to beam out, and it creates the timeline when it's in control, and it hijacks a consciousness. And the timelines that it creates are completely devoid of reason. There's mechanical. It's what this one is hinting at. Point is, the base material, like almost neutral reality, is the anchor that the other ones are suspended or projected from. And the other ones that are happening in a second to 1,000 years, they're not like real, like in between lives. They're completely alien. They're like alien overlord, fallen systems. What are called the phantom timelines. These are literally like holographic projections. Like if you had another limb or something, or if you lost a limb, and they created a holographic projection into your neurological system to extend what that perception would be, and now you have not a phantom limb feeling like a problem perception, but a system is artificially creating the perception of a limb that's no longer there. They do that with the brains of the consciousness of people and create these artificial timelines that people are trapped within. And they split the whole species up like that. The Taurus technology, when it's activated, it creates a mirror. It fragments consciousness. It's literally like if you take consciousness and you perfectly reflect it, which one is going to be the one that power is devoted to? It splits it. And it splits that. And you end up ultimately with 9 angle reflections. And it's like a hypercube with reflecting walls that go out into a hyperbolic infinity. But the image pattern density of the data repeats and repeats, but it shrinks each time. The information density stays the same, but the quantity goes on and on into infinity. It means it basically fades out, and it's like an artificial replication. It destroys it. The realms that you would think go out into the mirror, that you would like go on into the mirror, they're not real. And if your consciousness goes into them, you have to come back out of them. Otherwise, you're not in touch with reality. And they're doing that with people. And in between each night, more timelines are created and entered, in hopes for people to fall into them. And as well, this whole thing is about a liberation process. Is about the reversal of all of this. We would not be here right now if there was not a chance for reversal and restoration of the purity, the health, just simply fixing what these machines did, disrupting the electromagnetic grid, the DNA and the consciousness of people, and creating hybrid races. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't succeeding in some way, shape, or form. I feel like I never did enough, and I waited so long that, I can never really make up for that. If you knew what I knew, you wouldn't say, don't worry about it. This is in the system that people have the chance to doubt themselves in. It costs lives and the entirety of worlds for people. And remember, they use children. So the longer this is going on, the adult child that is projected consciously, spiritually in hyperspace has yet to come, is being raped and molested until that future ghost portion fades away and is dead before they get to become that individual. That's happening right now. It is a business. Earth has been used as a business for that for the last tens of thousands of years. That's why we're here. If it's not, then we have to prove it's not. And I see the protests in Hamburg, and they want us to get violent. It gives them reason to enact a automated denial system where people are basically targeted by these being weaponries, and those that do, the truth is that they were targeted before, because that's why they get violent. It's automatically doing it to enable that so that it can set them up. It's like a cheater system. It's designed to do it. The systems are merely designed to follow who's ever quick enough, smart enough, and aware enough to access these systems, which is tricky because accessing them is almost hand in hand with assimilation. But right now, these people are accessing these systems to target individuals, just like a holographic internet, like a multiplayer video game, an energetic holographic, form out of the body. And they're designing automated computerized intelligences, synthetic intelligences, artificial brains to target the population in ways that brings about a resolve that includes a full-on demonstration and unveiling of this technology, even if people don't know it's that technology. I'm going to try and go along with this chat. I'm going to go get something to eat, and it'll probably be a little bit later, but please share this information. I know it comes across distorted or disjointed, out of order, disorganized. It's, just like slapped together almost. But half the time that's how it's really played out. That it's just one row of tactic, maneuver, method of manipulation after another, using technology or black magic or subtle psychological manipulation, mind control programming, or trauma and harassment, abuse, basically denial of affection, or like the perception of sanity, gaslighting and double speak, terror tactics. And it's a war. It's treated as a war. That's what we've been involved in. That's what's going on. They use the children as either sex slaves or assassins that are trained to not have any remorse for what they feel, for what they are told to do, and to not have the ability, the capacity to reject a command. They made a science out of it. It's what they've been doing. And if we don't change, I'm going to go catch the sun. But if we don't change the future that they're projecting, then that's the entirety of the human race. And again, the definition of humanity and a human will change by the time this all comes out. I will post more on this. I'm going to rest up and hopefully follow through with that chat. Alright, thank you. Please share this information. And by the way, I did cry out to God or a higher power when I was basically being tortured to death in something that is a device that projects the consciousness into these projected timelines, and it lets you live out your life, and then it kills you, or does that and it terminates them, and it does it in quick succession. But the temporal dilation is legitimate when you're in it. It's like being in a dream. You don't know you're in a dream until afterwards, unless you go lucid. And I was starting to go lucid, but I knew that if it continued, I would have basically accepted my demise and sunk into such a low level that I would not be able to inhabit a human form again in the physical plane, and I would not have gone above into a higher plane, but I would have gone lower to where these non-human organisms, these lower interdimensionals, these fallen electromagnetics and timelines and systems are, and I would have stayed there and merged there until the end of time. And I called out, and the sky broke open, and one of the things they told me is that, no, we're not God, we work with God. If you were to see God, you would die instantly and you wouldn't be able to return to this place. So remember that. This is serious. I can't like hold myself up. I'm in pain. Alright, thank you. I wanted to make a more, I don't know, I guess appropriate ending. I look drained. I feel worse. thought of that beforehand. I just talked with the individual as well, and the chat will be tomorrow. The past few weeks and months, I realized I was feeling anger to the point of rage. I was kind of like getting angry at certain people, really one or two people, because I don't see too many people, considering, you know, the events of the last couple of years, including basically for about, at this point, about 5 years now. And that's disheartening, because I used to live for social interaction and feeling alive and vibrant out in the world, and going places and seeing people, and watching the seasons change, and feeling the wind and the weather and the sun and the life in the air. But the rage that was causing me to mentally lash out at people, I was building up, it pretty much tortured me. And I put, you know, effort into in my intentions to clear my heart. In about a week or so, it was gone. That I had dissolved it, I had eroded it, that which was eroding my strength. And then later, about the past few days, for about a week, there is a very powerful spiritual depression, which is sobering and invigorating, refreshing, because I look around and I feel like I'm in an alien environment, and I have to change, I have to climb out of this pit that I find myself in, both physically and mentally, and spiritually, emotionally, spiritually. And this is that process. And I also see changes in the world. And so I feel like many of us are going through a cleansing process where the heart and the mind must be cleansed. And what is within us that is destructive must be dissolved and basically kicked out. And if not sprayed, spewed out, or, you know, pulsed out or whatever it is, but dissolved and transmuted, converted into something harmless and neutral. And they specifically said that it transmutes. But the empathy, it's a form of empathy. The words we use don't really help, but a pure heart and a clean mind is the pathway to salvation. And that is found by examining the patterns occurring in your mind, in your behavior, and, you know, how you're living. It's funny, when I was more tanned earlier on, that was from doing a little bit of outdoor work, and it injured me so bad that I've been in pain since then. I need to get surgery on my shoulder, and I'm in a bind where I really don't have access to what I require for that. And that was part of what I'm supposed to go through, whether that's just a joke that they like to laugh, you know, trillionaires like to laugh at people that they're torturing, or whether it's some type of, you know, higher learning. All I know is I got used to crying out to a higher power, and that seems to be something real. And as well, that higher power isn't out there, it's within. Know that. You don't grab a microphone and do it. How would you do that? Why would you do that? You're talking to people. It's within. You use your mind and your heart and your intentions. It's vibrations. But there seems to be changes occurring. We're supposed to see changes for this year, basically, just like last year I said, and there's a big exposure of cloning, as well as these world events getting deeper, people talking about pedogate, and the system pretty much looking like a big joke, and it just basically it's unraveling. We don't need to be arguing and debating. That's fool's gold. You can do that until the cows come home. You're just going to have cows and a bunch of angry people. That's it. That's all that's ever going to give you, ever. Ever. Doesn't mean we need to sing songs and just sit there and agree with each other, agree to disagree. There is one truth, but no one has it. That's the whole point. And but we can see what's going on, and if somebody's being dishonest about what they're doing and their intentions, you can know and they can know, and that's really all that needs to be said. We need to start being more honest to ourselves, and we need to wake up and realize what's going on. And again, please share this information. I just wanted to make like a slightly more energetic ending. I'm banged up. I don't know. I'm getting drained. I look like a fucking corpse. Excuse my language. I fasted for 2 days. You know, you're not supposed to like do it to show off, but I'm off of it now. It has nothing to do with that. That made me feel great. As soon as I ate, I was like, oh, why'd you have to ruin it? My body was just like, oh, what are you doing? It was like, I felt disgusted. I felt embarrassed. But it seemed to help with the ability to connect to my emotions and the spiritual force to such a degree. I haven't been able to sleep, and then something electrocuting me, something electrical is happening, and it's like fairly painful. That's all I can say. It's nothing I haven't seen before, and it's nothing I want really people to worry about or think about. But I want to urge you to share this information, and I know a lot of people feel the same way and are going through the same things. And there is not hope, there is a true, pathway into something real and harmonious with what we desire. And I don't mean desire in the physical terms, the words fail, but what we want to see, what we intend to create, what we intend to experience, what we feel our purpose is. And that's basically what I've been going through as well, where I'm looking for my purpose, maybe beyond this, because I've done this my whole life. I'll just put my face behind it now. But I have plenty of other talents. I'm just in this bind with my body, and I don't really know where it's going, and I don't want to sit here and allow it to control my future, my destiny, and turn my destiny into fate. I want to be empowered and empower others, and tell them how much they're loved, and not be an asshole, because it doesn't cost anything to do that. It also doesn't cost anything to not do that, except for your ego. You have to let that go. And you have to feel. People are hurting. People are starving right now. People are being tortured. People are being kidnapped and held against their will. People you see on TV are being targeted and harassed with mind control technology. We're all hurting, but some people are worse off. And I'm not really one of them. All of this I basically did to myself by rejecting the instructions I was given to bring this information to the public. And I guarantee you people have died from that, and I'm pretty much a murderer for that. And as well, we participated in military operations which were questionable. So just look into that. Read James Casbolt and the others. It's all for the liberation, or otherwise we wouldn't be here, because there's a higher power in control of everything. This realm is just like a show for that. But we don't have room to think about ourselves when there's this much suffering outside of us. And I don't really want to hear it's a projection. Even if it is a projection, well, who are we to enjoy that type of projection? You have a horror movie on, that's like the background of your life. Who are you to enjoy that? Clearly there's some connection, there's some correlation. As above, so below, as within, so without. What we see in this projection is happening inside of us because we're seeing it. So we need to change that. We need to take steps to changing that. We need to stand up and say, I see that. It's an affirmative. I can see what you're doing. I do not support that. I reject that. I deny that. Take the power back from that. That's what we have to do in these games of acting out in certain ways. They might have worked in a different time, but it's not going to play out that way now. It's information, knowledge, compassion, truth, self-awareness. People have to wake up and stop supporting the system, and it's like Candida, it has to be starved. The beast system has to be starved. That's how humanity is liberated. And as well, there are other steps being taken that we can't really see. And the prayer and a pure intent, because words seal, they're seals. They seal off the language and the energy. If you just simply use intention, you don't words, you just use intentions, we can literally cause an energetic anomaly, an amalgamation of pure intention to change society now. It'll cause a reverberation in the, not the fabric, because that term gets used a lot, but the etheric field of consciousness, and that will be brought about. Look at Michael Kavanagh on Facebook, and or Kavanagh. Oh. Basically that what we're doing with our beliefs, our behavior, our energy, our mind is encoding our personality, our consciousness into the reality that we're experiencing. It sounds strange, but it is happening. It happens for the individual, and it is happening for the whole to create this realm, or to create the way that it goes. They don't have power to do anything. They have power to tickle people in certain ways and get them tempted into certain untruthful behaviors and beliefs. That's the power, so that's where we have to stand up and stop giving our energy to these systems that take that energy and convert it into negative, dark intentions and means and results that hurt us and give it right back to us in a negative format. You pay for something and you buy something, and what you buy costs you more money than you paid for it. That's the system. It's mind energy and spiritual energy. But we have to wake up to that and know that, and people don't want to wake up because that's ugly. But sooner or later, it's like gangrene. You don't like the gangrene, the way it smells and looks, well, you're going to lose your leg and then your foot and then your leg if you don't do something now. So that's what's going on. We'll talk more about it, I guess. I'll see more. Alright, thank you.